Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about the build update for my Bladefall Blade Assassin. Now, originally, my plan for this character had been to continue to play it as a self-cast build until I got late into the endgame. I was expecting to get a really good Watcher's Eye for the build around a week to a week and a half in, and at that point I would switch over to a slightly different variant. Much to my surprise, I managed to pick up this Watcher's Eye for the cheap price of 8 Exalt. And I know 8 Exalt might sound like a lot of money, and might sound completely unaffordable to most people. And in a lot of ways, yes, it is. But in terms of the amount I paid versus what I got for my money, it absolutely is a very cheap deal. Watcher's Eyes with 3 relevant mods are notoriously expensive. They range, in general, from around 50 Exalt at the low end to multiple mirrors at the high end. So I was very lucky to pick this one up for 8. And as a result, I've transitioned into my full endgame build, which is a Spellslinger Poet's Pen version. The reason I was going to wait on this is I feel I need the Vitality Watcher's Eye to make up for the damage loss from going Spellslinger and Poet's Pen as opposed to self-cast. As self-cast, you generate a lot more blades, therefore you have higher DPS. But what I lose in DPS, I gain in quality of life and smoothness of gameplay. And the 2 main things that I'm always about are number 1, defenses, and number 2, quality of life. So I'm very happy with the change. From here, my plan is to continue scaling better gear. And I'm going to talk about a few items because they might have differed from my original POB, and I'm going to explain why I'm using them. Starting with the Red Blade banner. This is something I picked up from my friend Rhaegar, whose profile I'll link down below. He's playing a similar build, and the reason that I'm using this is I have infinite power on my Enduring Cry, so it always generates charges, and the cooldown's much lower, which means I have a higher uptime on the buff and get more consistent healing. The Poet's Pen in place of Obliteration is obviously an extra trigger source. Another change I've made is I'm using a Hallowed Hybrid Flask in combination with the Hardened Scars Anointment to give myself almost permanent Fortify. With this league being as rippy as it is, and with the playstyle of the Poet's Pen version being very face-tanky, I wanted to make sure I had as many passive or close to passive defenses as possible. Aside of that, not too much has changed with the build. So what content have I thrown it against? Well, the simplest way to show what kind of content I've thrown it against is to just do a good old boss montage. In terms of the mapping, it does definitely feel a lot smoother than the 2-button playstyle, but overall, the 2-button playstyle was about as fast, if not maybe a little teeny bit faster, surprisingly. Just due to the fact that the 2-button playstyle was you fire 2 spells and then you move on because everything's going to die, and now I'll sometimes have to stand still for a little longer and keep attacking to get the poisons up and then run past. Part of this could also just be me not fully adjusting yet and spending too long attacking things when what I should do is move on because they will die to the poisons on them anyway. And while I'm on the topic of the self-cast version, one other thing that I ran into that was pretty problematic, which I ended up changing my build a little bit to work around, was I had some mana problems. To solve this, instead of using a 5-link Bladefall in Embalmers, I instead just opted for a standard 4-link, which reduced the mana cost to 60. And then I used a ring with the Elrion's crafted prefix, which gives non-channeling skills -9 to their mana cost. Between these 2 things and a level 12 or so clarity, I was able to fix all of my mana problems and do just fine. And on the Spellslinger version, the Spellslingers themselves take up most of my mana reservation. So if I want to run an aura like Malevolence, I'd likely need to use All's Uprising. And if I wanted to use a Herald, then I'd need to use either a Herald Ring for reduced mana reservation, or alternatively, just get some on the tree and that could be enough to push it over. I again ran into some mana problems, but Blood Magic support on the Frenzy and keeping Frenzy at level 1 seemed to be a good solution to this. Given my life recovery per second, I probably could level the Frenzy, and I may well do so in the future. The damage on my Spellslinger setup isn't that impressive compared to what I could get with the self-cast, but the defenses are absurd and it feels a lot smoother to play, so I'm very happy with it. I might not insta-get bosses quite as quickly, I might not do the cast Bladefall twice and Baron falls over, but I can also just stand in everything he does until he falls over, so it doesn't really matter to me. I can very much recommend this version, but I wouldn't recommend this version unless you have a little bit of a budget, because it does heavily encourage face tanking, and if you face tank without the Watcher's Eye, unless you're very good at reading map mods and understanding what they mean for you and your defenses, you probably will get yourself killed quite a lot. Now if you're playing the self-cast version, you could use Red Blade or you could use Mistwall. That's just down to whether or not you're taking a lot of hits. If you're taking a lot of hits and you really want the Enduring Cry reliability because of that, then I would switch to Red Blade, or just a rare shield with something like +2 minimum endurance charges and get 1 on a ring. On the other hand, if you're mostly running through things and running past them without getting hit, Mistwall or against bossing, Replica Mistwall is absurd and very much worth your time. My plan from here is to phase out the Atziri's steps, probably pick up a Maw of Conquest so I can start doing self-poison, and get a rare chess piece, because at the moment I'm very unique heavy, and it's certainly limiting in terms of what I can do and what I can build, just by the number of suffixes on my gear. A rare chess piece is going to open me up to go full elemental ailment immunity, which will also then open up my flasks to the point where I can use something like a Sin's Rebirth or an Atziri's Promise, or possibly even a Bottled Faith. A rare chest will also offer me things like Explodey or Spell Crit, while still maintaining the physical taken as elemental. My plan for right now is to get something with Fizz taken as Ellie, decent life, and an open prefix. Long term, I'm likely going to do some sort of Maven's Orb, Awakener Orb shenanigans, and make myself something really nice. At least if I don't get bored of a build. We'll see how much that costs and how lucky my first or second attempt are, and go from there. One thing I can say for sure is Poison Bladefall Bladeblast Assassin is absolutely insane. It melts content, and I feel like my knowledge of how dangerous a lot of mechanics are have been badly warped by this build. I don't really know if there's any dangerous mods on Ritual, because I can just stand in everything and my health doesn't particularly move. This is one of a few builds I've played in recent history where I can safely say, if you get enough gear, you can face tank the game. Maybe I'll find something in later tier 16 maps, such as the Cirrus-touched mobs, which I've done a couple tier 16s, but not many yet, due to how early this is and how much time I've spent crafting, as opposed to pushing my Atlas. Maybe I'll encounter some more of those with Rippy mods that will kill me, but thus far the deaths have been few and far between, and usually happen after all the enemies die, because if all the enemies are dead, I have nothing to hit to gain absurd life per second, and without anything to hit, I'm as mortal as the rest of you. But I hope you found this helpful, and if you want to see more of the gameplay live, or how I'm handling some of the mechanics, I will be live streaming later today, so be sure to check that out. The easiest way to see my live streams is to subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell, so that YouTube notifies you when I go live. The stream is also very likely to appear within your recommended feed, and when I'm live streaming, I will be pushed to the top of your subscriptions feed on the main YouTube page. So my question to you is, did you start Bladefall Bladeblast Assassin for your League starter? And if so, how's it going? Have you found any obstacles, or are you crushing everything that you've encountered? And if you didn't start Bladefall Bladeblast Assassin, what was your starter, and has it been successful? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And special thanks to all of my channel members who help support me so that I can continue to make videos just like this one. Your support really means a lot, and without it, I probably wouldn't be able to make videos of this regularly. If you want to help support the channel, click the membership button or the link down in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful and want to ask me a question in a more interactive setting, I stream at least once a week here on YouTube, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have relating to this video or any of my other videos. Thank you again, and I hope to see you on stream sometime. Have a great day.